In the beginning, what was a smartphone? It was like, first there were flip phones and cell phones, and that was a thing, and then there were smartphones. And what are the things, if you look at, let's say over the last 10 years, every time a new iPhone came out, every time a new Samsung came out, what are the things they're telling you about that they're going to, at the top of the list that they're advertising, are going to be pixel density, resolution, how bright the screen is, how contrasty the screen is. Does the contrast and brightness of the screen make it any more effective? Pixels on the camera, okay, maybe. A better camera does a better job. Is your phone able to do any better a job of any of the things that are going to make your life better because the screen is brighter, more pixels, more contrast? No. What is it going to do? It's more bright, it's more contrasty. It's going to give your brain a bigger hit of dopamine every time you see it. They've designed the phones to hijack the same way that those foods are designed to hijack a system that's there to encourage us to get the nutrition we need. They studied it, figure out how it works, and then intentionally hijack that system to make us spend more money on that product because they make us want more and more of that product in a way that's doing the opposite of what the system is actually there to do. Right? Another example is notifications on phones. Now, every notification, the notification badge that like tells you have an unread text message or a WhatsApp or whatever it is, all of those badges are which color? Red. No? You don't have, like when you have an unread text message, you don't have like a little red badge that on your text message thing? Like a little red dot?
It depends what phone you have.
Okay.
They're bad, guys.
Okay. Well, I have another question for you.
On the icon of WhatsApp, like when you have an unread message, there's like a little red dot in the corner.
It says the number.
You could, but it usually.
Right, but are those dots all red for everyone? Yeah? Yeah. Why are those dots? What else is red? What else do you know of that's red? Stop sign? Why are stop signs red? Because they don't want you to miss them. What else is red? Blood. If there's blood on the floor, it's probably a good idea to know about it. So our brains respond to red. Your brain sees something where it's like, oh my goodness, bright red, what is that? Draws your attention. So stop signs are bright red to draw your attention. We don't want people not noticing stop signs. The people who made the phones who were noticing, oh, the apps that have red badges are getting clicked on more than the apps that have green and yellow and blue and gray badges because our brains are designed to notice red. Next thing you know, all the badges are red. All those dots are red. The phones, why is there even a dot? If you need to know whether you got an email, you can open up the email app and check if you got the email. If you're expecting an important text, you can open it up and check. If right now is the time when you want to see if anyone texted you, you can open it up and look. What do you need a dot for? The reason that you need a dot is the same reason that it's red. Because the more red, bright dots there are on your phone, the more times you're going to take it out. It's going to guarantee that if your phone's sitting on the table, bright screen lights up, red dot comes up, it's going to catch your attention. What are you going to do? You just got dopamine. What happens when you pick it up and you swipe and now the screen comes to full brightness? You get more dopamine. What happens when you see, oh, someone messaged me. Oh, someone commented on my post. Oh, whatever it is, more dopamine. And the people who use the phones, the people who manage, let's say, Facebook, or YouTube, the YouTube apps on smartphones weren't always the way they are that you scroll, right? If you go onto YouTube on a computer, you just get a home screen. And it used to be like that on phones. And then they noticed, hang on a second, everybody opens Facebook and spends the whole day on Facebook. Why? Because you click on Facebook, comes up and you just go, whoa, and you scroll and scroll and scroll, and there's a never-ending supply of things that are designed to catch your attention. And YouTube was like, hey, we want a piece of the pie. If everybody's spending time on Facebook, Facebook's making money because people are seeing ads on Facebook. We want people seeing ads on YouTube, because then we're going to get some of that money. So YouTube was like, now we have to have a feed too. We have to make sure that anytime someone wants YouTube, they see a whole list of things and they know that if they scroll down, they'll see more and more and more things that are just going to give them that hit of dopamine and it's going to make them feel good. And what happens is over time, our brains are getting more and more and more dopamine more and more frequently. The levels are getting higher and higher and higher. As those levels get higher and higher on a regular, consistent basis, what happens? The amount that we need to just feel okay becomes, if naturally, let's say a person's dopamine levels need to be here, let's say about, and sometimes they're up a little and sometimes they're down a little, but this is sort of where it is. And then you have a phone that makes your dopamine go, oh, 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 and then it comes down to, oh, and it's constantly making sure. If your average dopamine level is up here, what happens? Your body gets used to that. And as soon as your dopamine level drops down to here, you're going to crave. Your body's going to say, oh, dopamine's low. Craving. What happens? Pull out the phone, because there's nothing that gives you a bigger, more sudden hit of dopamine than those bright, contrasty images on the screen and the dots. And why notification, someone commented on your post, etc., etc. All of these things, they're designed to give you maximum dopamine. Same thing, casinos do the same thing. Right? But a casino, you have to walk in. The casinos have spent billions of dollars researching how frequently they have to have a speaker that plays that ching, ching, ching sound as if someone just won a lot of money, and exactly what level the lights should be at, and exactly how many feet the lights should be this bright and flash that many times per second to give people the maximum dopamine to make them want to come back again and again and again, and to make it really hard not to come back. Same thing, they're manipulating our biology to make money. That's what it is.
I feel like it also like made everyone's attention span like way lower. Like people can't even like watch movies and shows because like TikTok just like are like all different short things. And it's, like,
100%, right? And TikTok is the worst of them all by far, because it's the most addictive.
wow.
No one is spending, it's just the balance that they got of the content that they encouraged and how continuous the feed is and how short it is, right? Everything's short. Which means, you know, if you might watch something on Facebook or YouTube and it's like a 15-minute video, and by the time you get to the end of that, it's like, okay, that was somewhat fulfilling, move on. But if every 30 seconds it's changing and it's something new, right? They have shorts, but on TikTok, that is the whole TikTok. And it was designed specifically to be as maximum dopamine, maximum levels of dopamine as frequently as possible. People today spend 15 hours a day on TikTok. It's not uncommon. I mean, as if like you guys need me to say this, right? That's insane. Why? Because someone in the headquarters of TikTok in China is laughing all the way to the bank, because they're making billions of dollars a second at the cost of people who are getting their dopamine levels set so high that when they're sitting together with their best friend or with their spouse or with their child, the person they love the most in the world, that dopamine level's just not enough. I'm going to pull out my phone. How many times have you seen people, friends, couples, parents and children, a child's talking to a parent and the parent is on the phone at the same time? Think about that. Yes. And think about that for a second. If you ask any parent, what's more important to you, your phone or your child? How many parents are going to say my phone is more important? Hopefully zero. So why are so many scrolling phones while the kid is talking to them? Because the phone has been designed to hijack your dopamine, to get your brain used to such high levels of dopamine that the other things that you do care about more, but they don't, right? Spending time with the child, spending time with your best friend, with someone you love deeply, is very fulfilling and rewarding. But the dopamine level's not up at the sky like it is from bright lights on a phone and a never-ending feed on TikTok. Our phones are designed to give us the maximum possible dopamine, specifically with the intent to make us pull them out again and again till it gets to the point. Right? How many times, I'm guessing everyone in the room has experienced this, I guess. I certainly have many times. I have my phone in my hand and I'm looking at something and I literally don't even remember taking it out of my phone, out of my pocket and turning it on. It's like, hang on a second, how did this happen? I was in the middle of doing something. I just looked at my phone 2 minutes ago. There was nothing here that I need to check. I'm in the middle of doing something and somehow my phone is in my hand and I'm looking at it. Please explain. Please explain is that they hijack dopamine, they hijack our brains. And what they do is they give us so much dopamine, right? Before there were smartphones, if you wanted to have a good time, what did you have to do? You had to call a friend, go play outside, hang out, chat, do something that actually is healthy for you in some way or other that's going to give you dopamine and make you feel good. And so you want to do it more because hanging out with friends is fun. And it is, and it's healthy, assuming that there are healthy things involved. 90, whatever. Now you can get more dopamine more quickly on the spot by pulling out your phone and scrolling on something that brings no value to your life, and it makes someone else billions of dollars a second. Right? So these have been designed the same way that junk food and casinos have been designed intentionally to take advantage of our biology. To take something that Hashem built into our bodies to encourage us to have connections with family, to have connections with friends, to have connections with community, to have connections to projects and things that are meaningful and fulfilling and are going to bring something valuable into our life. They've hijacked that, taken something else that's going to give us 100 times as much on the spot, and forced almost our brains to pressure us to spend time on our phones instead of with family, friends, working on things that are going to actually make a positive difference and bring value to our life, right? And again, cravings, it's if someone's, been spending 15 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 7 hours a day on their phone, on social media, and then they just try to stop, what happens? If you take anyone, average teenager, let's say, who's spending, hours and hours and hours on their phone scrolling social media, and you take the phone away and you actually make sure they don't have a replacement, you know what you're going to see? You're going to get someone who is quickly going to become angry, they're going to become irritable, they're going to exhibit real signs of clinical depression, they're going to possibly have problems sleeping, they're going to be miserable for a couple of weeks. Why? Because their dopamine level is on the floor relative to what they're used to. And if you give that person an opportunity to have a phone, you really expect them to say no? Cravings are designed to win. Okay, excellent. So now this is the last thing that I want to get to, is that everything in life, there are very few things in life that are all good or all bad, right? Let's say more or less everything in life has some benefits to offer and comes at some cost. Those benefits come at some cost, right? And with anything in life, when you decide, a friend calls you up and you have a project to work on and it's due tomorrow, and a friend calls up and wants to go out for coffee or to hang out or to do something that's fun, and you think to yourself, hang on a second, should I not? What are you doing? You're saying, okay, benefits of going out with friend is fun, feels good, enjoyment, whatever it is. Cost of going out with friend is I'm going to be up all night, I might not finish the project, I might get a really bad mark. So what do? You weigh up the cost against the benefit and you make a decision. Every decision we make in life is weighing up the costs against the benefits. There are things in life that have very substantial benefits, but they're still not worth it because of the cost. Go back to drugs, right? People take drugs the second time after the first time because they felt good. They did it for a reason. You ask anyone who's not an addict, is it worth it? And they're going to say, what are you, mad? Of course it's not worth it. How many people, have thrown their lives in the garbage because of this? It felt good. Cost benefit, does it add up? No, of course not.